We'll start with a small prayer. Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam pangum langhayate girim yat kripātamaham vande Paramanandamadhavam Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Buonasera, beautiful ladies. So in the last class, we came to know about how Krishna taking the chariot of Arjuna to the spot exactly where he could see his lovable grandfather, the most respectable guru. And he chose the spot just because he should see how strongly convicted Arjuna was for this warfare. And this was a small examination, just like we all go through some life examinations. This was a small examination that the Almighty wanted Arjuna to have. So we also saw Krishna saying, behold Arjuna, look at the entire clan of Kuru before you. And Arjuna started to tremble because what he saw was not the Kuru clan, not the kings, not the big emperors, although he was the one who wanted to see who was his opponents in the army. He wanted to have a better vision. But on seeing his grandfather and the guru, he started to tremble. He started to panic because laws of attractions, attachments have started to rise in his heart. And what he saw was not the opponent, but his own kinsman. That's what we're going to see in 1.26. 1.26 has triplet of shlokas, so please be with me. Tatra pashyat sthitan parthaha. Tatra pashyat sthitan parthaha. Pitrunatha pitamahan. Pitrunatha pitamahan. Acharyan Matulan Bhratrun. Acharyan Matulan Bhratrun. Putran Pautran Sakinstatha. Putran pautran sakhinstatha Shvashuran suhridaschaiva Shvashuran suhridaschaiva Senayorubhayorapi Senayorubhayorapi. So that was 1.26. Tatra pashyati sthitan partha pitrunata pitamahan. There he saw his beloved grandfather, the grandsire. On seeing the grandsire, he quickly took a view of the entire army. He couldn't see any emperor. He couldn't see any king. What did he see? Sage Vyasa puts it very, very pristine clear. What did he see? He saw Acharyan. He saw all the gurus. Matulan, his uncles. Bratrun, his brothers. Putran, sons. It's not his own sons. Brothers' sons are also his sons. No? Sons. Sakinstata, he could see friends in the opponent army. Shvashuran, fathers-in-law. It's not exactly fathers-in-law. Brother's father-in-law is also his own father-in-law. No? Fathers-in-law. Suhridaschaiva, again, friends. Senayorubayorapi, well-wishers. All sorts of kith and kin were waiting to kill and be killed. Why is this? What had happened to the eyes of Arjuna? Just few moments ago, he wanted to see the opponent army. He wanted to see the strength. He wanted to see which emperor is using which weapon. To analyze and tactically, skillfully analyze the warfare strategy he wanted. He was totally towards the lakshya, totally towards the destination, the point of destiny. But suddenly, just by seeing the guru's face and grandsire's face, his heart started to melt because of attachments. It is the same case with King Dhritarashtra, the blind king. He was asking this wise minister who had this divine vision, how are my sons and the Pandu's sons? What are they doing in the battlefield? Please let me know. Please explain. So there is selfishness, my sons. We always view things through selfishness. This egocentric selfishness is the trap of attachment. At all times, come what may, come how much we listened to the scriptures, come how much we are steadfast in yoga practice, somehow we feel in the part of our heart that attachment is love. We think that way. But what does attachment bring? We have to think like that. Attachment brings out misery. How can love result in misery? Love is not supposed to be like that. No? We say we fall in love. I don't believe. We rise in love. Our hearts, bloom. We start to fly, float in the air. That's how it has been beautifully narrated by so many poets and, even in the history. So we escalate ourselves in love. It is the attachment part that we mistake as love, which leads to misery, which leads to trouble. It happened the same way with Dhritarashtra. He is fierce with anger and frustration. He is asking questions after questions to his wise minister. Now here, on the other hand, the same attachment had put Arjuna to another point. So he was in the alpha point. Now he is into sigma. He is totally broken. He has got literally a nervous breakdown because what he saw was kinsmen around, kith and kin. Why? Didn't he know that these people will be there? Months ago, weeks ago, this was planned. And this war was imminent. He knows. He knows at what point he is standing against, But still, his heart starts to melt. Oh my God, I'm going to kill my kith and kin. I'm going to kill my relatives. Blood will be in my hand. That is how I have to enjoy monarchship. No. Which means he is not steadily put or grounded in the dharma, righteousness. After all the efforts of not going for a war, still war broke out. Now he is standing in the middle of the battlefield. Now if he falters, then it is complete depression. No? He is not able to do his swadharma. He is not able to do the righteous duty. His mind itself is blinding him with that thin layer of curtain called attachment. It's the same thing with Duryodhana. So when Dhritarashtra is frustrated, Duryodhana is angry, Duryodhana is annoyed, he is speaking, inappropriate words, foolish words, in fact, to his own guru. He is not behaving properly to his guru. He is not speaking properly. He is not deliberating the right idea. He is infesting greed, lust, passion inside the warfare. He thinks that that's the way the action has to be done. And at the same time, Arjuna, because he is a bit sattvic in nature, his heart is filled with kindness. His heart is fully filled with kindness and love, but he had forgotten that idea that this war cannot be avoided. He is standing there. This kindness, this emotion had happened long before. But long before, he also had the same sense of revenge. Revenge against against the injustice done to his wife. His wife was disrobed in a courtroom. No, that's about Mahabharata, a bit about Mahabharata. He had revenge against his brothers who had made his own brother kill. There was so much of murder mysteries going behind. He was revengeful months ago, and at the point where he has to act, now he is not able to act. The problem with us is that we do not know how to act. We always overthink, I should say, of how to act and how to withdraw. It is not the question about acting and withdrawing, my dears. It is the question of being an agent, an instrument of the divine, and then work through divine. You're not acting, you're not withdrawing. It is he who takes you through. You just go with the flow. That's what I was mentioning in the previous class a bit. Now I'm going to take 1.27, 1.28, 1.29, 4, 1.30 altogether. Tan samikshya sakaunteyaha. Tan samikshya sakaunteyaha. Sarvan bandhun avasthitan. Sarvan bandhun avasthitan. Krupaya paraya vishtaha. Kripaya paraya vishtaha Vishidannidamabravit Vishidannidamabravit Arjuna uvacha Arjuna uvacha Drishtve mam swajanam Krishna Drishtve mam swajanam Krishna Yuyutsum samupasthitam Yuyutsum samupasthitam Sidanti mama gatrani Sidanti mama gatrani Mukham cha parishushyati Mukham cha parishushyati Vepatuscha sharire me Vepatuscha sharire me Romaharshascha jayate Romaharshascha jayate Gandivam shramsrate hastat Gandivam samsrate hastat Tvakchaiva paridahyate Tvakchaiva paridahyate Nacha shaknom vyavasthatum Nacha shaknom vyavasthatum Brahmati vacha me manaha Brahmati vacha me manaha. Why I did take all the shlokas? Because all these shlokas are meaning the same, same context. After seeing, after viewing the entire army, all that he could see, all that Arjuna could see was his own kith and kin, his own flesh and blood relatives. And suddenly, this happened. So here he clearly describes what has happened in his mind, in his body, in his psyche, in his energy. He is able to clearly, categorically describe how depression is affecting him. He's saying, Vepatuscha sharire me romaharshascha jayate. First, he was Vishidannidam abravit. He was struck with sorrow, as if an arrow of sorrow has struck into his heart, and he is wailing at this point of time. Arjuna Vacha, Arjuna says, Drishtvaimam Swajanam Krishna, I cannot see anyone else. All that I could see is Swajana, my own people. Sidanti mama gatrani, my body is paining. It's completely paining. I'm broke completely, as if every bone of mine is breaking. Mukham cha parishusyati, my mouth is being parched. I don't know why I'm parched so much. I was so nice. I was so good moments ago. Vepatuscha sharire me. Now I understand. My body temperature has risen up. I think I've got a high fever. Romaharshascha jayate. All my hairs are turning into, rising up at its ends like goosebumps all the time. Gandivam shramsate hastat. The bow that Arjuna has is always called as Gandiva. Gandiva, the bow which had seen nothing but success, nothing but victory in any warfare. In fact, a month ago, this episode of he getting despondent and wailing and depressed, he was attacking the same guru, attacking the same grandfather, the beloved grandfather, like anything. He was put into the entire Pandavas, the Pandus, the 5 brothers were put into a a scheme where they have to stay in the jungles for 12 years, and for 1 year, the 13th year, they should stay in disguise. If the Kaurava clans could find out their identity, they have to repeat the 12. That was a stupid rule that they had to, these all terrible things these people, Pandavas were, tormented about. So, and in that, the 13th year of Ajnatavasa, he portrayed himself to be a eunuch, not a male and not female. So where this eunuch, because she has to protect the country, she was a charioteer, she saw the warrior who was just 16 or 15-year-old, and he was trembling with fear. He took his bow and arrow, kept it inside his entire abdomen. The bow was shut, and he started playing with arrows, throwing people away from the warfare. It was that Arjuna, it was that Gandiva, that bow, that powerful, that victorious bow, which is always in his hands. Even while he sleeps, he has this. Now he is saying, he's mentioning this. Gandivam sramsati hastati. I don't know what had happened. My hand is so shivering that my Gandiva is leaving from the hand grip. And this is a point of wonder, because this does not happen at all in his life. Tvakchaiva paridafkyate. Again, he's feeling that heat, the heat of sorrow, the heat of the body, everything, striking him. Nacha shaknomi avastatum. I cannot stand anymore. And then he falls, sits down on the chariot. Nacha shaknomi avastatum brahmati vachame manaha. My mind is reeling. I could see only reels. We see Instagram and Facebook reels. His mind is full of reels, because he is always moving to the past. See, this is what happens exactly when the mind is despondent, when the mind is depressed, is frenetic. This is an indicator that the mind is not in the present moment. It shows reels, Brahma. It cannot think properly. It cannot judge properly, because it is always lodged in the past. Or some wiser ones, thinking that they plan the strategies, and all those strategies are constantly oriented to the future. Again, there is no peace. The mind is always distressed. Arjuna is categorically saying, see, my mind is reeling, and hence I see that difference in my body. My physiological character, my hand grip strength is weak. My body is warming up unnecessarily. I am parched. I cannot stand. My physical ability is gone down, is decreased. And this is because of mind being frenetic, mind going to the past time and again. The only thing that can take Arjuna's sorrow away, take our troubles away, is to put the mind in the present. Repose to the now, and that is yoga. Repose yourself to the now. No? How does this happen? How come we can achieve this? By constant practice, not only on the mat. We have done enough sweating on the mat. Huh? We have done enough running. Slowly, that point of consciousness has to be grabbed. So every moment we live with that point of consciousness. That is the only cue. Why Arjuna is not living in the present moment? He has seen people. He is seeing people. No, he is not seeing people. He is blinded by the attachment, and he is seeing the warriors who is ready to kill him, who is ready to kill his brothers in the side, as his own relatives. So this is blinding. This is masking. Hence, being in the present moment and detaching yourself from attractions, detaching yourself from egocentric attachments is the right way, is the way of relaxed living. That's what Krishna is going to say. One more thing I would love to mention this. If a person has to be ready for Yoga Shastra, Brahma Vidya, for Vedantic wisdom or yogic wisdom to get internalized, one has to go through despondency, my dears. If you are still attracted to the pursuits of the life, yes, I have to achieve this, yes, I have to do this, I am doing this, I have planned. When you are doing that, somehow in the rat race, you get disappeared. And then at some point, you get to realize, oh my God, what is this? Perhaps Aurelia and Uli leaving Bucharest might be one of the reasons. Where are we leaving? Where are we running? Not only urban life, urbanized life I'm talking about. When we lead such urbanized life, there is storehouse of diseases. That's another issue. But it is also a storehouse of mental disease. Because we are constantly in this pursuits, in the race of pursuits. And that will happen. Okay, so slowly you get cut down from the pursuits, demoralized a bit. Oh my God, I have put so much of efforts. There is no results. There is no results expected. No, you can't say there is no results. There is no results expected, as expected. And then this strikes. There is something else that I have to search for to be happy, to get that peace. Not only all these pursuits that I am listing in my list. Adi Shankara, the greatest philosopher of Vedanta, without whom we will not be able to read this Bhagavad Gita. He is the commentatarian of all the Shruti, Smriti, and Nyaya Prasthana. He gives an analogous kind of example here. Pradipta Shiraha Jalarashimiva. If a person has a strong willing to discover one own self, strong willing to see that Almighty, that divinity in oneself or in whatever form he or she likes, that strong willing to perfect oneself should be such strong that what happens if your head goes or head starts to burn with fire, some accident? How do you run? Where do you run to? You run to the source of water like mad, crazy fellow, no? That strong willing you have to discover for yourself who you are. If that willing is intense, Sadhguru says, even Shiva cannot, pull him down. Even Shiva cannot stop. Even God cannot stop. Tivra samveganam asannaha. Patanjali also says the same thing in his Yoga Shastra, Yoga Sutra. If the willingness to discover yourself, willingness to samadhi, willingness to self-realize is very, very intense. Then samadhi comes down to you to bless. It comes near you. You don't have to go. Like mountain comes to Muhammad. That's what Patanjali says. So, why am I saying all these things? Arjuna, although misguided with his attachment, is faltering away from the duty. If at all he is not despondent, he would not be able to receive this Yoga Shastra. He will not be a good receiver of Yoga Shastra. This sorrow should strike. If sorrow from the lifetime is not struck, then where will the question arise? What is the purpose of life? Will it arise? No. Because you are so well gifted with all the luxuries, all the love you want, you have catered, or you are being catered to. This will not arise. Hence, this despondency itself, just because of Krishna's presence. And it is Krishna's little examination over Arjuna, whether he is strong enough or a bit, wobbly over his decision. It is because of Krishna's idea he got this depression. And this depression is a spiritual depression. Now he knows what his purpose is, what his duty should be by being in the state of yoga. And slowly the master starts to speak. Not now. He does not speak the entire first chapter. He is just a mum, silent observer. He says, whatever you want to blabber, you blabber. He is just a listener here. Okay. Shall I take one more shloka, or should we open for discussion? Shall I take? Yeah. Okay. 1.31. Nimittani cha pashyami. Nimittani cha pashyami. Viparitani Keshava. Viparitani Keshava. Nacha shreyo anupashyami. Nacha shreyo anupashyami. Hatva svajanamahave. Hatva svajanamahave. Now slowly he is giving justifications. So justification number 1. Krishna, I am seeing bad omens. I am seeing inauspicious signs everywhere. Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani. Hey Keshav. Keshav is also another name of Krishna. If there are bad omens, I don't think so we are doing the right. Nacha shreyo anupashyami. Shreyas is an important word. We have to understand the Sanskrit word. I'll let you know. For now, we will understand it as goodness. Okay. Nacha shreyo anupashyami. I don't see anything good. Hatva svajanamahave. By killing my own people. That's his first justification. And before moving into Swajana, I want to throw light upon, not me, but just remind you of certain things which you do not know. It is already mentioned in some episodes before Gita. Gita is just in the 12th chapter or 13th chapter of Mahabharata. So before the war broke, Sage Vyasa lists these bad omens. What bad omens? Okay, the war is about to break. From the sky, there are weird things falling. Colorful rains. India is full of elephants, We also rear elephants back in the old days, and we used elephants as weaponry also. Elephant carts have been also used. So elephants started to behave strangely. These are some of the bad omens that Sage Vyasa enlists about. Arjuna knows these bad omens long back, like months ago, which had happened. But now he had seen that already. But he couldn't relate at that point of time because there was revenge. Now, by standing before his grandsire and guru, and he is recalled by the moments of that day I saw bad omens. Again, this is an indicator that the mind is always going back. Always going back. Whatever you see in the present moment, this mistake that we all do, even me, whatever present moment, whatever the present situation is encountered with, we always judge the present moment with the past thing. That is animalistic instinct. That is using your back brain. It is not a right or a wise way of living. Dr. Ananda Balayogi Bhavanani says it is the way of living like an animal, because this occipital part of your brain, the back brain, always is lodged with past memories, hard emotions, instincts, So animals behave like that. No, on the basis of instincts, on the basis of hard emotions, animals behave. A human should not behave. Human should not respond from the back brain, he says. Prefrontal cortex, the front brain, the frontal lobe, is where we have to think, analyze, and then respond and behave. So what is this prefrontal cortex enhancement means? Living in the present moment. As simple as that. When you start breathing, live in the present moment, at that spur of the moment only, there is numerous neurons up in the prefrontal cortex firing up. And then you judge better, you perceive better, you think better, you speak better, you don't speak irrational, you don't speak erratic, you don't behave erratic, there is system. And this is how a human has to behave, So that's what Dr. Ananda says. Now, coming back, now he has seen bad omens long back, months ago. Now he is relating that. All those were washed away in the mind, in the memory. Now it is recharging. Just because it has to support his decision that I'm not going to wage war against my people. Now, astrology. We don't have Marios today. No? Astrology also speaks about bad omens, good omens. So is astrology and ancient rishis' wisdom? Dr. Neha is here. She is a novice astrologer, yet a very good one. Once we had a conversation with Neha, I cannot forget that night. I cannot forget that night. It was until 2 we were talking on astrology. So usually we Indians believe in astrology. Everything is on astrology, even the date of marriage, time of marriage, date of birth of kids, everything. So we get super duper hypnotic about what is called Shani Dasha, the regime where Saturn gets dominant. Okay, it puts you into lot of troubles to test you whether you are in dharma. I remember Neha saying, you have Shani Dasha happening, Bhabi. Bhabi is the word for sister-in-law. But when you stick to dharma, Shani will not do anything to you. Now, I was so astonished coming this particular statement coming from an novice astrologer like Neha, because this is what Bhagavad Gita says. This is exactly what Bhagavad Gita says. Astrology also speaks of bad omens just to make you aware that you be vigilant. You do your swadharma. You do not falter away from your duties. You know what to act, you know how to speak, you know how to think. Bring alignment in your action, speech, and deeds, and words. That is swadharma, right? That is dharma, bringing righteousness. So, now the weak mind, Arjuna has this weak mind, hence he is despondent because he is so much oriented to the past. His frenetic, weak mind is getting perturbed about this bad omens, the Shani Dasha, the Saturn dominance. People in India are also very, very super duper panicked about Shani Dasha. Little they know that once they stick to dharma, no turmoil even will touch them. Astrology is basically for that, to make you strong, vigilant, withstand with whatever trouble that comes. I stand for dharma. Okay. Now, I'll end with this. This will again take some 5-7 minutes. Here, Arjuna talks about something called Shreyas. I initially mentioned the Shreyas is about goodness. First of all, you understand this. To understand this, we have to move a bit further, taking this from Kathopanishad, the most vital, I should say, among the 10 Upanishads. It clearly prescribes two terminologies. One Shreyas, another is Preyas. We will first understand Preyas because it is our opposite mind. It is easy to understand the opposite thing. So, what seems to be attractive, lustrous, super duper goody in the present moment, but in the due course of time, it becomes just the opposite. It becomes wicked, it becomes gruesome, cruel, and very, very defaming, very, very hurting, make you, bring you, stoop you down, bring you low. That is praise. Like this samsara, like this life that we live. This life, super duper lustrous, with all the paraphernalia, it seems everything to be good, everything to be constant, everything to be available. And then one fine day, there comes this news. He or she is not there. You are not supposed to get what you are supposed to get. This is called samsara. It seems pretentious. It seems all goodie bag, but not at all good for you. There's a second terminology Kathopanishad talks about. Initially, this Shreyas seems to be bitter, despondent, troublesome, like Arjuna's depression. Troublesome, bodily weakening, mentally challenging, charging, taking all your energy out. But slowly it turns out to a thing which gives out wisdom. That's the real goodness, and that is called Shreyas. Poor Arjuna takes the word Shreyas for goodness, but he forgot that Shreyas, that which is good for the long term, that can seem to be bitter in the beginning, is nothing but the life of yoga. It's nothing but self-realization. It's nothing but leading the life of a joyable yogi with an attitude of renunciate. That's my time now. Questions?